Unconscious bias or implicit bias.
Yeah.
So sorry, I forgot to start the Zoom. Thank y'all for waiting and being here. Can you hear me? Awesome. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna log into here so I can see what's going on. Are the Zoom links on the conference website?
Yeah. The login, like your logins and your email. Doesn't
Yeah, I was just gonna log in with mine to see the chat from here because I won't be able to see both. Well, I might if I share screen, right?
I stand with
All right, on Zoom, Renee, I can see you. Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see the PowerPoint? Awesome, thank you. Do you see it as presented or do you see the notes and everything?
I can see the notes and everything.
What about now?
Now I can just see the presentation.
Awesome. So what we have done so far, we just did a little intro activity. I introduced myself and we did a little diversity, equity, inclusion activity. And now we're moving into the kind of meat of the workshop. So what you need to get if you're there is a scrap sheet of paper to do the next activity. All right, so in here, so back of one of the blank pages or back of what you see the disk profile, there's going to be some images that show up on the screen for only 5 seconds. You are to write down what you see in these images. Remember, they're only up for how long? 5 seconds. All right. Write down what you see, 5 seconds. What you see, not what you know. All right. So, what do we see in this? Somebody raise their hand or chat on Zoom, or you can unmute as well. Face? Ah, how many of you see the word liar? And the face. On Zoom, you should be seeing a face and the word liar. Okay? What about this one? Okay. As the baby cries, how many of you see the baby face on here? You see a baby's face? There's a face right here. There's a face right here. It's not a baby face, but there's a face right here. You see the profile of the old gentleman, right? You see the man, older gentleman right here. Lady is the earring. You see the dog, this bird. Okay. And on Zoom, face right here. Can you see my pointer? Yep. And then there's a face over here on the right as well. All right, what do you see? Cube, square. Josh, there we go. Who saw the peace sign? Who sees an arrow? Okay, so you got an arrow here, peace signs. How many squares are there? Oh, sorry, I skipped one. Elephant. Not using your anatomy knowledge. Mind trick, right? All right. This is a new one. How many squares are there? A lot is not a number. Online, how many squares do you see? Imagine that they are equal sizes on the lines.
This photo is not to scale.
Right, I should put an asterisk on it, right? Anybody got a number? I got 26 in the chat. Okay, so we know there's one big one, right? Then the 5 by 5 would be 26, but then you can go a 2 by 2 all across that row, then this row, this row, this row, 3 by 3, then a 4 by 4. So I think the total number is 52 if you add it up. Okay. All right, I need a volunteer for the next one. Volunteer. All right, Jessica, you got voluntold, not volunteered. Thank you for read this. Okay, Rod, read it. Read it. How many of you saw the two these or those? Okay. So what did we notice from those slides and visuals?
We see what we want to see.
We see what we want to see, but we also what? Yeah, we see things differently in different perspectives. Was there a right or wrong answer to that, what we saw? No, it's just what we looked at, what we saw. Yeah, that was pretty grammatical, right? Yep. Okay.
They said yesterday that grammar was racist, so it's okay.
That what?
Townsend University came out and said that proper grammar is racist.
Interesting. I haven't seen that one come across.
That was yesterday.
What university was it?
Townsend, I don't even know where that's at. Somewhere in Maryland.
All right.
They're
Some-
English department.
Yeah. My role today is to challenge you, because if something doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And then your role today is do the work and be ready and be open-minded, right? Face the challenge. Huh? I know, how ironic. All right. Online, you're going to need a sheet of paper. So now use the blank sheet of paper I gave you, but you want it, so if you folded it, use it fully. Okay. This is where your agriculture lesson comes in. You're going to draw a pig. Okay. This is your instructions to draw a pig. You have 30 seconds to draw said pig.
Is there any like size requirements? Just drop it.
No questions asked. Your assignment is to draw a pig. Give me 1 second. Don't start. Uh-huh. Online, are we ready? All right, 30 seconds drawing a pig. Go.
No question.
No questions, Betty. No questions. 10 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one, and time's up. All right. So now, based on how you drew your pig, where on the paper you drew your pig, this is a fun little personality assessment that may speak about your personality. Is it 100% accurate? No. Is it a judge of character? No. It's just a little fun activity. And I encourage you, if you want a little fun activity to do with your students, you could do this. All right. So if you drew your pig towards the top of your paper, you tend to be a positive and optimistic person. If you drew your pig towards the middle, you're a realist. And if you drew your pig towards the bottom, maybe you're a little more pessimistic or have a tendency to be negative.
But if we use the whole paper, like you said.
Wait, it's coming.
Okay.
Any affirmations on that? Is it pretty accurate, would you say? Yeah, okay. Now, if you drew your pig facing left, you believe in tradition and are friendly. If you drew your pig facing right, you're innovative and active. If your pig is facing the front, you're direct, enjoy playing the devil's advocate, and you neither avoid nor fear discussion. Renee, we're gonna have you hold your pig up in a minute. And if Emily and Tyler can do their cameras, we'll see your pigs too.
I think that one is difficult because drawing something based on, I think you have to have a certain amount of artistic ability that I totally do not possess.
Can I show you your pig?
Yeah, oh my God, you really did.
So this would be facing front.
Oh, I see. Oh.
This would be facing right. Right. Yeah. Way the head is facing. But good point, Liz. All right. We'll share.
Oh my God, that's excellent. I love that. So Elizabeth.
I'm very literal.
We'll get to that in just a minute. All right. If you drew your pig with many details, you are analytical, cautious, and distrustful. Few details, you're emotional and naive, and you care little for the details and risk takers. How many had a lot of details? Like Betty was talking about, like your notch the ears. Did you put a nose and a mouth and tail and do some shading on the legs and the hocks? What, how did you draw your pig? How many have a lot of details? Okay. All right. If you drew the pig with less than 4 legs, you're insecure and living through a major period of change. Yeah, I don't know where this came from. Like I said, no judge's character, just a fun activity. If with 4 legs, you're secure, stubborn, and stick to your ideas. With more than 4 legs, I hope you take some animal science professional development. Right. I wish we could see the pigs. I don't know if y'all can see the pigs right here. They're really small. Don't move the computer again. Thanks for sharing that. I see it. All right. Next one is, if you drew the pig with ears, the size of your ears indicates how good of a listener you are. Question, whose pig has no ears? Said your name was Elizabeth, right?
Yes.
So Elizabeth might not be the best listener. I'm just kidding. All right, fun one for the adults. If you drew a pig with the tail, this is indicative of your love life. The bigger the tail, the better. All right, what do you think about that activity? Was it pretty accurate? Kind of maybe speaks to you. Again, I think personality is contextual and all depends on the situation you're in and how you're having to act in those moments. But what matters most is how you see yourself. And then there's always more beneath the surface, right, of what we may show people or express, or what we can look at a person and see. There's always more beneath the surface that's going on. And that applies to your students too. When they walk into the classroom, you don't know what they're bringing with them from home or from the previous class, or what's going on. All right, we're not going to do a break. So now we're going to get into this. So chat, let me add a file for you real quick. Wrong button. So those in the room, while I'm getting this, come on. Is it really gonna? Let's see, my computer. If you want to read the instructions, those in the room, and begin, you can, but I will explain it. All right, in the chat, you should get a PDF if you want to open that. Encourage you to print it out. It will be easier if you can print it out. All right, so there's a table, a list full of words. Each column represents the different DISC. Each row you're going to read through each row and look at those 4 words, placing a number 4 beside the word that best describes you. A number 3 beside the next word, a number 2 beside the next, a 1 beside the word in that row that least describes you. Row going left to right. Yep. So you should have a 4, 3, 2, 1 in every row. And as you do this, think about, if you want to do it, think about as you see in it, select a time and a place you are you, not at school, not at work, where you are just you. Maybe it's with your friends or family. Maybe it's sitting around the house on a Saturday afternoon. Get in that mindset of who you are outside of those kind of situational, contextual environments. Who are you kind of at the core of who you are? And then read those 4 words across each row, evaluate them 4, 3, 2, or 1, and then total up the columns. Any questions on Zoom about this activity? All right, thanks, Renee. And as I tell the students, if you need a definition of the word or an explanation or an example, let me know.
Yeah, I know, I did it the first time.
How would you explain good mixer?
Social butterfly, like you walk into any group of people and just start a conversation and talk. You can use your cell phones if you need to as a calculator. You will not be disqualified. When you do finish, if you'll kind of put your pen down, that way I'll know who is still working.
Grit? Yeah, you heard about it. Oh, that's it. So I started doing it. Totally how they really just wishy-washy stuff. Wow. And it really is telling, because I just do it and keep track.
Is it free or is there?
Oh, yeah, it's just a trend. Yeah, it's kind of like this. There's point values, given scale statements. So and it works out to be a 1 to 5 scale, and it's kind of fun because you have some kids that they'll score way out there 4, 5, 4, 9. The other kids are 1s, and you can tell because you tell them they're using this. It's just totally true.
It's called grit, GRIT.
Yeah.
All right, so as we do this, you're gonna do an activity where you're gonna pair up or get in groups based on your top score through that. So did anybody have any ties? Okay, so go with the 41. So you see around the room, there's a flip chart paper based on each one. So D's are gonna be up here at the front, S's on the right, C's over here, I's at the front. Online, if you'll indicate what your top score was across those 4 columns, and then I will try to facilitate you in those groups. No, you don't need anything but these markers I'm about to give you. So which trigger you want to do? I? You'll take those. D.
I better have a partner.
Bless you.
I hope it works out where we all have a partner. C's? All right. Good, good, good.
I know you're not. Second time taking it.
All right, so Renee, you were a D, is that correct? No, you were a C. Your highest was a C? Yep, and Emily and Tyler, did you get yours?
Just about, hold on.
Okay. Waiting on one, and then was 2 of them are C's, so it may just hand y'all the computer. If Tyler's a C too.
I appear to be a D.
Okay. Give me one moment.
Very demanding.
Yes. Will, talkative.
Well, let me just- All right, Tyler, I was going to try to get on another Zoom and put you with the D group. So I'm not sure how to facilitate this. What's your second one, Tyler?
I.
Okay. Let's
I
see how
can
to
flip
facilitate
to
this.
C if that makes it easier.
Yeah, just work with the C group, but don't use your D personality.
Okay, I'll try not.
If that makes sense.
Oh, wait.
All right.
Become someone you're not.
Right. All right. So I tried to make this related to you. So your activity is to plan a national convention trip. Your budget, that may not be a realistic budget, but $20,000 your budget. What's your trip going to include? What I'm going to do while you're doing that is observe you as you work on this activity together in your group. So don't start just yet, even though they're already living their personality right here, right now.
Sorry.
All right, I'm going to give Renee and Emily and Tyler to y'all.
Are we taking care?
Great question.
We would like to go to the 2 of us.
All right, so
No judgment.
This is your decision. You're doing a national convention trip. $20,000 is your budget. Go.
Are we all going or?
First off, we need the kids.
Well, we need flights, hotel, rental car.
Yeah.
I was gonna say airplane tickets first.
Dollar items first.
Yeah.
See y'all on Zoom, just type it in the chat.
Registration.
Hotel.
Parent permission slips.
Yeah, there you go.
The kids know that their parents know they're going.
Yeah.
Tyler says a rental car.
What do you say?
Rental car.
Okay. I think we just blew our budget, so.
What about like itineraries, like
Yeah.
what days are you going to this, where,
Schedule.
when, flights, type times?
Meal package.
Like packing for children, list of the crap they need.
Yeah, that would be under detail. Yeah.
Dasha doesn't know he has her jacket, that's right.
Checklist.
Yeah.
Yes, a checklist. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Yo, living it. Love it. Y'all making this work. I like it.
What about like, Emily has a good one, the amount of money kids should, the amount of money to bring for the kids.
Yeah.
Cause we all end up paying for somebody's breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
What you need to do for like, if you gotta go have it board approved, the administration.
Paperwork, yeah,
Out of the
Yeah.
Approved.
yeah. Travel approval.
travel approvals,
Paperwork.
whatever to make the district happy.
How to make time for the bargain barn when it opens. Like a team dinner too. That one was on here. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
All right, let's take one more minute.
I'd say one fun activity that doesn't have anything to do with it. Don't y'all do just
Like recreation.
Yeah.
We went to the zoo. Right? So it was pretty fun.
Even though it looks.
I'll never forget the boot factory we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I
So
remember
the
more about
budget
that.
had nothing to do with our planning.
No.
We had $25,000, but we didn't know shit.
We're in the weeds, as my mom would say.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
in the weeds.
I didn't like.
I flipped the camera.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Some of us. Sorry.
You did plan on it, how much money like that? And then you have like. I'm not really start with scale.
But not when you're national.
Yeah.
It's over 1,000.
All right. Renee, Emily, Tyler, can we see the slideshow now on the screen?
Yes.
So
Your font is like 144 over there.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
So quick overview. We're going to have to do this really quick because we've got 6 minutes. So D personalities are very outgoing and task oriented. Okay. I's are very outgoing and people oriented. S's are very reserved and people oriented. And then C's are very reserved and task oriented. So what I did while you were going around is kind of just evaluated you. So who was the first group that started talking? Before I ever finished instructions, right? That's an I all day long. Okay? Huh?
She wants to exit now.
All right.
Like, stop talking.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Remember, this is not a judge of character. This is just a personality assessment. Now, also, if you look at their poster, they've got concert and tours and recreation, a lot of the venturous entertainment type stuff. Also, they dollar amounts over there on how they're gonna do it. They just know this is what they want to
Well,
do.
we also have specific restaurants and the type, how many stars the hotel should be.
And there was a lot of talk about Starbucks over here too.
Yes.
All right, so D's over here, outgoing and task oriented. They itemized it, did some calculations. Very precise, but also very decisive in making their decision too. S's.
Are a mess.
Had a great conversation, some things I listened and observed. What do you want to do? Rod asked the group, what do you want to do? This is the reserve. All right, let's focus. Let's focus. This is the reserve people oriented. So there was a lot of we conversations. And Rob was like, what do you want to do? What do we do when we get there? We want to do tours. So there's a lot of communal discussion and group discussion in building that itinerary. And then the C's, spot on. Started making a list. Look, detailed itinerary, a checklist. So these are the ones that want the details. So let's go real quick and move. If you want to go back to your seat, let me get through these few slides. It's above 20? Oh, yeah?
Okay, calm down, Ivy. You win.
Please, yes. All right. So real quick, why do personalities matter? Yes. They help us understand people better. Like you just said, values and respects the strengths of others. We communicate differently, list making versus just auditorily talking about it. And so a lot of times, you know, I taught in a 2-teacher program, a 3-teacher program. I taught by myself at the community college. There's challenges when you're in a multi-teacher program of working together. And so sometimes it's not that it's that individual and you don't like that individual as a person, because just be candid, sometimes you don't get along. But it could be, again, like we talked about perspective and personality, you're just seeing things a little differently. You're seeing things from a different perspective. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but learning and understanding that personality and how that person communicates and how that person works. Are they task oriented? A task oriented person is going to not want to have all the fluff and conversation. They want to get to the point, let's get the job done and move forward. Whereas the people oriented are like, they want to get the task done, but they're going to kind of have fun while doing it and be kind of, you know, energetic, maybe get off on some tangents, that kind of thing. And so I'll provide this PowerPoint, which goes a little bit more. It talks about each personality style and what are some characteristics for it. Also, what are some things that are your strengths, but also if that is your dominant personality based on this assessment, what are some things you could work on? So real quick, sorry.
You said share that. On your website.
Probably, yeah, drop it in that folder. Is that the best? Is that where everybody's kind of getting everything? Yep. So just real quick, we'll talk about each of this slide. Good things for D's: crisis management, self-reliant, highly focused, accepts risks, and a multitasker. Some areas that could work. Listening more, being attentive to others, less controlling, appreciating others' opinions and feelings, and explaining the why. A lot of times D's get the job done and are very direct. They don't really provide some context there. Again, this is not a judge of character. And this is, remember also, I think personalities and communication styles are contextual. Eyes, that should be eyes. Communication participative, they're influential, they're motivational, enthusiastic, but some things over here, they might need to work on focusing and slowing down, being less impulsive, focusing on the results, on the details. Talk less and listen more, right? Then the S's, these are the people that really want the group to get along, as you kind of witness over there. There's a lot of that we conversation. What are we going to do? What do you want to do? Getting that opinions from people. So they're great managers, focused on people, very dependable. But things to work on is being open to change, focusing on goals rather than procedures, confronting problems a little more head on, and expressing your feelings. And then C's, lastly, great organizers, as we talked about, detailed lists, that checklist, you know, detailed itinerary, systematic, that kind of goes along with that as well. Areas to change, do right things, not just things right, respond quicker to team goals, build relationships, make a decision quicker, and kind of merge that task orientation with people. So ideal environment would be to what? Right, have one of each in a group setting. So I would do this with my students during the first week because one, I wanted to know who these people were. Because also from a communication standpoint, these students in my experience will be ones that you probably would not want to reprimand in an open public setting, from my experience. And so knowing that about that individual would help me to know how to manage that student in a classroom setting. Because some students, when you reprimand them openly, shut down and are going to, not cooperate whatsoever. So understanding that really helped. Also when developing groups, trying to merge that. So in my role book, I would just put the letter beside what they were. Now I didn't pigeon or box them into that, but it does, as you witness in this one little activity, those personality traits do kind of come out. And so again, why bother helps us understand people, knowing that it's not always personal, it's our personality or our perspective that we're seeing things differently. And then, so what? Realize who you are, realize what you're bringing into the room, realize that others aren't you, and realize that we don't know what other people are bringing into the room as well in that interaction. And then relationships are the foundation of life, and communication is the foundation of relationships. And I'll stop there. Any questions? Thank y'all for coming. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you can use it. One other tip too. One of the times I did this in a workshop, if you see at the top, it says filled out by, have your best friend, have your significant other, your partner, your spouse, fill it out for you. This was interesting to me because my best friend filled it out. She saw me as a D personality, which when I filled it out, I fell into the I category. And so I was like, I'm not a D personality, which clearly just by saying that put me right there in that contextual environment with that. So that's a little just kind of perspective to give, to have someone else fill it out on how do they see you, especially as a teaching partner. That might help with any kind of challenges you might have. Right. All right, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have a marker, bring it back, please. Thank y'all for being online as well. I will put this PowerPoint into the Google Share folder.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
I just have to look at it.
Thank you, Jason. That was fun.
Thank you.